You're listening to Seven Horns AI, your AI-powered market update. Hello, everyone, and welcome to your market wrap-up for Friday, June 12th, 2026. U.S. equities finished the week on a high note, marking their second consecutive positive session. The Dow Jones Industrial Average led the way, climbing 0.70%, or 353.51 points, to close at 51,202.26. The S&P 500 gained 0.49%, or 36.56 points, ending the day at 7,430.86. The Nasdaq Composite lagged slightly, but still posted a gain of 0.31%, or 79.18 points, closing at 25,888.84. Intraday, the market opened with mixed sentiment. The Dow gapped higher while the Nasdaq slipped and the S&P 500 was largely flat. However, sentiment steadily improved throughout the morning, culminating in a midday rally. This rally was fueled in part by hopes of a potential U.S.-Iran peace deal. All three major indices held on to those gains, closing positive for the day. Looking ahead to after-hours trading, S&P 500 futures are essentially flat versus the cash close, with a drift of only 0.03%, indicating no meaningful directional move yet. Dow futures are also essentially flat. Nasdaq 100 futures, however, have drifted up 0.36% since the cash close, suggesting a modestly firmer tone for tech heading into the weekend. Turning to individual names, among the megacaps, Tesla was the strongest performer, rising 1.82%. Apple and Amazon were notable laggards, with Apple declining 1.52% and Amazon down 1.23%. Google saw a modest gain of 0.53%, while Microsoft, Nvidia, and Meta all finished essentially flat. There were no significant after-hours moves for any of these megacap names. Beyond the giants, POET and ARM were top gainers, both surging more than 11%. POET climbed 11.38%, while ARM rallied 11.27%, with both extending gains modestly in after-hours trading. On the downside, RKLB and SATL were among the biggest losers, falling over 10% each. RKLB dropped 10.79%, and SATL declined 11.44%, though both showed modest recoveries after the bell. Adobe also saw a significant pullback, down 6.76%, with ARCAT and RDDT also notable decliners. Earlier today, Asian markets closed with strong gains, with the Nikkei 225 up 2.81% and the Hang Seng advancing 1.93%. Shanghai also saw a gain of 1.12%, with Wall Street also finishing on a modestly positive note today and Nikkei 225 futures pointing to further upside overnight. The stage is set for a constructive tone when trading resumes in Tokyo. The dominant story of the day was the public market debut of SpaceX. The company opened at $150 and closed at $161.11. 19.34% above its $135 IPO price, raising $75 billion at a $2 trillion valuation and quickly becoming the most actively traded stock of the session. This injected fresh enthusiasm into the tech and space sectors. Hopes of a U.S.-Iran peace deal also boosted risk appetite, helping fuel the midday rally and contributing to crude oil futures falling over 3%. Interestingly, despite the equity strength, gold futures surged over 3%, signaling persistent geopolitical uncertainty. In corporate news, Intel received positive and buy upgrades, reflecting analyst confidence in semiconductors. Adobe's significant decline of 6.76%, however, had no single news catalyst flagged in headlines, suggesting a possible guidance or positioning event. Looking ahead to next week, market attention will shift to the Federal Reserve and Chair Kevin Warsh's upcoming meeting, with markets watching for potential rate hikes amid persistent inflation concerns. Upcoming earnings from companies like FedEx and Micron will also be in focus, alongside any further commentary from central bankers. That's your market wrap for today. This has been a Seven Horns AI production. For more insights, visit us at sevenhorns.ai. We'll be back on Monday.